Ever wonder where your Rolex watch came from? Or whether that Gucci bag on your arm is the real deal? Well, apparently in many cases they're not. Hi, I'm Jim Jelter with Market Watch in San Francisco, and joining me today is Rex Crum to talk about the thriving business of counterfeiting. And Rex, our colleagues over at 24/7 Wall Street have done a lot of research and talked to some U.S. customs officials, and they've come away with some startling numbers and an interesting list.
It is interesting when you look at the numbers involved here. The Customs Department came up with, in the past year, $1.26 billion worth of counterfeit merchandise that they seized. Now, that's only the stuff they seize. You know, there's probably 10 times that much getting through the borders. But the top item on the list, probably no surprise at all here, handbags, and that's because things like Louis Vuitton bags are popular and expensive, and if you can find one that quote unquote fell off the back of a truck for about $25 and looks as good as the real thing, probably most people aren't going to notice the difference.
And they're not super high tech.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
This is a low tech item,
Yeah.
so it's easy to replicate, and like you said, the price is right.
Yeah, and $511 million worth of that was seized by the customs in the last year. So there's a lot of fake bags coming into the country. But, it's not the only item on there. A couple of other interesting things here. Apparel, often related to, in many cases, sporting goods and apparel. You can go down on the streets outside of pretty much any sports stadium before or after a game here and find jerseys, T-shirts, whatnot, ball caps that aren't officially licensed.
Huge items during playoff seasons.
Right now, here in San Francisco, the Super Bowl, everybody's going for something there. About $133 million worth of that was seized last year. So that's an interesting item that's being counterfeited.
And like you said, that's only the stuff that they caught.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not being caught at all.
There's other stuff that's size-wise easier to smuggle in, watches, and according to this list, I was kind of surprised that Singapore was one of the top areas of origin for this.
That is kind of interesting because if you know anything about Singapore, it's known for law, orderliness, things kind of running by the book there. But it's also a major shipping port through Southeast Asia and out into the Pacific. So there's probably, and if you look at the map where it's coming from, Malaysia, Thailand, everything's kind of filtering down through there. It probably should be as no surprise that there's a lot of counterfeit trade running through the port there.
Right, and one country whose name keeps popping up on the list.
Yes, well, China. It's like so much merchandise is already produced over there. It's probably not that difficult to produce the knockoff stuff as well too, and that's cited over and over with these items here. Whether whatever it is, whether it's consumer electronics, apparel, whatnot, China's name just keeps coming up over and over and over.
Right, and then I guess there are a couple other names that pop up as well. Taiwan.
Taiwan, yeah, makes sense. A lot of that stuff, again, it's a lot of the legitimate stuff being produced over there. There's a lot of lax regulations. It's hard to keep track of, who's doing what on the sly over in those countries.
Slip a few containers of bogus stuff in, but it's not just coming in on ships now either. It's coming in via the internet, essentially, right? Web-based sales.
Web-based sales are big too. I mean, people do so much shopping online. If you order something, a discount, you might see something for offering a discount price on, a pair of shoes, a pair of Uggs, for example, popular shoes here, and that's one of the top items here, footwear. How do you really know unless you're going to, UGG.com,
right,
whether it's, the real thing or not, as long as you've got that label in there. And that, again, also another item on the list here, just the labels. The market for the labels themselves estimated at around almost $27 million there.
Wow. That's a lot to keep track of.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Rex.
No problem.
Thanks.